today's practice, which looked pretty good. How was today relative to other days?
There was some learning moments in there during the course of the week. It wasn't perfect, but again, there was progress. I thought this week was better than last week, and that's the positive.
The reports out of Chicago Bears camp with Caleb Williams and how he's developing with all of the new weaponry he has on his offense is making this upcoming season very intriguing for the Chicago Bears and their fan base as they patiently await for their first ever 4,000-yard passing quarterback. And if Caleb does play all 17 games, I think he has a great chance to do that in year number 1 with all of the arsenal of weapons he has surrounding him. I made a video about a month ago talking about the Bears offseason moves and all the new pieces they brought in, how I expect the roster to really be scary next season. And that video was made before the Bears officially got on the field. We started seeing their practice and what Caleb actually looked like in a Chicago Bear uniform. But some stuff has come out in the past week and it looks really exciting. Caleb Williams just looks as advertised. Obviously, everything that happens in these offseason practices you kind of want to take with a grain of salt just because there's really no pass rush, there's no pads even going on. But what you can take away from these practice sessions, especially with the quarterback, is the ball placement, the ability to make off-platform throws, and just the down the field accuracy. Probably the most popular clip that we've seen is Caleb going deep down the right sideline to new rookie wide receiver Rome Odunze, right over second-year cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, who's actually playing pretty good coverage, but it was just a perfect pass and a great box out from Rome Odunze to come down with the pass. And this clip I do think represents what we can expect to see from Rome Odunze next season. He's going to have that role in the Bears offense to be the red zone target as he is now the biggest wide receiver on the roster. And his specialty and why he was drafted inside the top 10 is his ability to come down with 50-50 balls, jump up over 2 people, come down with crazy catches. That is what he's going to be relied upon to do, and having that type of weapon for a rookie quarterback is just unbelievable. We also saw Caleb's connection with star wide receiver DJ Moore on another deep throw down the field. And again, it is crazy that DJ Moore is also on this roster when you take into account how good he was last season for the Bears, over 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was really good for the Panthers his previous 5 seasons, but he really broke out last year. And again, he's another guy that can come down with contested catches, but he can also take a screen pass 80 yards to the house. We saw it multiple times last season with the Bears. So the fact that Caleb Williams is going to have Rome Odunze on one side of the field and then DJ Moore on the other side is just pretty much unbelievable. I don't know if any rookie quarterback in NFL history has ever come into a situation with 2 stud wide receivers as the X and Y on the outside. There was also a throw from Caleb on the move to tight end Cole Kmet, who again is an above average tight end who I think is actually very underrated. He also had a career year last year, over 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. And while I don't know if he'll ever have a massive role on the Bears offense just due to all of the wide receivers that they have, he can definitely be a safety blanket for Caleb, where if it's 3rd and long or he needs somebody in the middle of the field, just a big reliable target, I think Cole Kmet could fit in that role very nicely. He had an over 81% catch percentage last year, which is ridiculous. But I think my 2 favorite clips were the ones that were actually not to the stud players on the Bears roster. The first one being to John Jackson, the 4-year veteran out of USC. This is another throw that represents the timing and footwork of Caleb and then his ability to stretch the ball down the field accurately. Once again, perfectly in stride to a guy that's probably not even going to make the roster. But by far my favorite clip was Caleb rolling out to his left, flipping his hips off platform, launching a ball down the field to Gerald Everett. I feel like Everett is not even mentioned a ton when you talk about the Bears offseason moves because of how many they made. But again, he's another guy that is very reliable in the passing game, and he gives the Bears the opportunity to play 12 personnel with both of their tight ends. And even from that clip, you can see his ability to jump up into the air, pluck the ball out of the sky, and actually come down with it. But those are just some of the things that I look for when you're evaluating rookie quarterbacks in these OTA sessions, just their talent and what jumps off the screen in these couple of clips. And anytime you see a quarterback running to his weak side and then flipping his hips, immediately throwing a perfectly spiraled pass down the field, that's pretty impressive. And we've seen Caleb do it so many times at USC and at the collegiate level that it even brings some more excitement to what we're going to see on Sundays very shortly. And the final clip I want to mention is the out route to Rome Odunze, just another clip showing their connection continuing to improve. I really do think this combination is going to be lethal from the opening snap. It's pretty well documented that Caleb and Odunze are fairly good friends. They were training during the draft process, so they're already kind of ahead of the curve in terms of chemistry. Caleb knowing how Odunze is going to run his routes, where he's going to be on certain spots, and Odunze knowing the nuances of Caleb's game as well. And it is not just the media that Caleb is really impressing, it's also his head coach and multiple teammates. Matt Eberflus came out and said, I thought 7-on-7 for Caleb was really good. I thought he did a really nice job throwing the ball on time. His footwork has improved this whole week. His progress was there. And I know some people will say, hey, he's the head coach, coach? What is he really going to say about the newly drafted quarterback? And I hear you, but what I'm taking away from that is that Caleb is continuing to progress with just these little nuances in his game. He's actually taking the coaching about his footwork and how to maneuver in the pocket and applying it practice after practice. And at this time in the offseason, that's really all you can ask from your rookies and especially your quarterback. They even asked some defensive players about him, and really the captain of that defense in Tremaine Edmonds said he's competitive. As a rookie, he's doing some things that are good to see. That's the thing that gets me most excited, and I think gets our team most excited. I think what he's referring to there is players can really tell within a couple of practices if a player has it or not. And when Caleb is making those off-platform throws, rolling out to his right, rolling out to his left, and just flipping a pass 40 yards down the field, players take notice of that talent, and I think that is what he's referring to here. And to take it a step further, their new running back, DeAndre Swift, also said, man, just the talent jumps out at you. He's somebody that's willing to learn. He went on to say, you could tell it's natural to him. You could tell he's trying to get comfortable with the offense and everything, commanding the offense. You stand in the huddle with a whole new set of faces, new group of guys. So it takes time for somebody to get comfortable and for that to be repetition-like. He's doing a great job so far, taking it day by day. I talked to him about it the other day. He's doing great so far. So combined with all the clips that we've seen across social media, it is massive that all of the veterans on this team are rallying behind Caleb and really supporting him. Any rookie, regardless of position, is going to have their ups and downs. I mean, you're taking a massive leap from the collegiate level up to professional, but when the rest of the team around you acknowledges your talent, understands you're trying to get better, it makes learning from those mistakes and getting over them that much easier to do as a player. And I think that is going to be something that really helps Caleb this year, just having a nice support system around him. And lastly, in terms of practice production, I also want to highlight how Caleb has progressed in OTAs. He went 13 for 14 with a defensive pass interference call that included a deep touchdown strike to DJ Moore and another beautifully layered throw to Moore between 3 defenders. His first week of camp was filled with up and downs, but the consistency really improved this past week. And I think that showcases him getting more comfortable with the offense and everybody around him. But as we head into June now, I don't expect to see too many more clips until training camp, which is going to be towards the end of July. At this point, for the next month and a half, Caleb and the rest of the Bears roster is really going to spend it in the classroom, learning the offense and learning what they need to do day in and day out to prepare for games on Sunday. And the last thing I do want to mention for this video is the fact that the Chicago Bears are going to be this year's Hard Knocks team. Obviously, the NFL is really milking Hard Knocks now. We have 3 teams this year: the Giants for OTAs, the Bears for the traditional training camp and preseason, and then it's to be seen who will be the in-season Hard Knocks. But I am definitely going to be tuning in. I cannot wait to see how all these new faces on the Bears come together and build this team this summer. I know a lot of people have a negative stereotype regarding Hard Knocks and think it's like a huge curse for a team. And while I do think maybe a decade ago it could have been a distraction and players maybe could have just been shown out for the cameras, I don't think that's as big of a deal anymore. I mean, for example, all the clips that I showed in this video are from the social media team recording them during practice. There's tons of other videos on the Bears social media page and really every other team in the NFL, with players getting interviewed after practice with these random fun questions. You have players' phone calls when they're drafted all across social media as well. So I feel like most players and coaches and organizations at this point are kind of just accustomed to having cameras around them. And specifically for Caleb Williams, who's been one of the biggest college football players the last few years, I think he's used to the spotlight and used to all of the cameras and press around him. So Bears fans, if you are a little bit worried about your team being on Hard Knocks, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Just enjoy watching some deeper insight into your team and being able to enjoy some of the background stuff that you won't regularly see. But I want to know what you think about the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Do you see the Bears as a contender in the NFC next year, or do you think they're still a few years away before they can be classified as a real contender? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.